Today I'm interviewing Bill Gleason, Hempfield's new safety and security supervisor. Welcome to Hempfield.
Thank you very much.
Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Bill Gleason, and I started here in the end of December as the safety and security supervisor.
What responsibilities come with that position?
Well, basically, to keep it simple, it's maintaining and building a positive school climate. So making sure that things are as they are now and then increasing the climate. School climate determines school safety.
And what do you want to do to ensure a safe climate in Hempfield?
Well, basically, it's all about building relationships, building better relationships, stronger relationships, because the key for me with school safety is we need to intervene before a threat or at the time of a threat. And so early on, if we start to see some stressors in people, that's the time to make sure we have a system in place for someone to come forward with that information and we get the proper help to whoever the threat was involving, and then we don't have to respond to an incident because we've prevented it.
And what stressors do you see that you can jump on to prevent?
Well, there's a lot. Being in COVID for the past however many months or years now, that's led to a whole different type of stressors just within a family unit. A lot of times it's relationship has broken up. There's maybe some financial issues going on, but usually it's the loss of somebody close. So death in the family or divorce, that if somebody has had some stressors, that last big impact might cause them to do something. So it's important that we all keep eyes on each other. And if we know what stressors we're looking for when we're talking to our friends or our coworkers, that's the time we kind of pick up on maybe this person's acting a little differently, and let's just make sure that they check in with somebody.
How much experience do you have with this type of thing? Like, how long have you been doing this?
Well, specifically with school safety, it's been about 20 years. And again, prior to that, my experience in law enforcement, I think, really helped me to get to the school experience. And then I've pretty much been just a hands-on. Like, I don't have my master's degree, my doctorate degree. I didn't write papers on this stuff. It's basically from working with hands-on with students over the past 20 years that I kind of learned as I went.
What experiences have you had in the past that increases your confidence of your qualification for this position?
Well, when I was a police officer, I became became interested in mental health, because as a cop, I'd run across people in crisis, routinely. And back in the day, I really didn't know what to do because I didn't want to arrest a person if they were having a mental health episode. But I started taking some training, and I got to know what areas or what organizations offered services. And then I was able to steer different people towards mental health services. And then other officers, if they came across somebody in crisis, refer them to me. So it was the increase in dealing with mental health that got me interested even more so. And then I became a crisis negotiator. And most of the people that I dealt with that were suicidal or barricaded were experiencing some mental health issues at the time. A lot of them were self-medicating. But a lot of the things I had learned previously really helped me with that position. And then it's having empathy for people and building relationships with them. And so when I got into school resource officer things, because in Lancaster we were the first urban police department to start school resource officer initiative, we kept that whole idea with us of have empathy, let's not try to arrest, let's do other things. And I found a lot of agencies, a lot of services, and got to know what they did. And so we could refer students to those places rather than giving them a citation or taking some sort of law enforcement action. So a lot of the things in my police career kind of led me over to when I started with the school district. My experience as a cop really helped me out in that area of, again, not going us against them with students, because that does not work. It's got to wrap your arms around everybody. So a lot of my police experience has helped me in the school districts.
After implementing empathy and thinking about mental health when dealing with people, what changes did you see?
Well, it took me a while to figure out, because as a police officer, if someone yelled at me, all right, and I'm out on the street, they either go away, they're going to get locked up, or they're going to get cited. But it took me years and years being in the education system to understand when a student might be venting at me, it really wasn't about me. that's just an outlet for them. And that was hard as a police officer, a prior police officer, to kind of put up with that. But then I quickly learned, you know, if you get past that and find out what was the cause of that, that we had much better success with the student, and we were able to solve the problem. So it was kind of, again, my experience with the mental health and even the crisis negotiation, let them vent on me for a little bit, and let's get to what the real issue is. And if we can take care of that, usually the person's very appreciative that, you know, I didn't use force or I didn't try to have them locked up. All I was trying to do was get them the help they need.
And when coming across a situation like this, or like with a student, what steps do you take to ensure that they're okay and to make sure they don't harm other students? Well,
again, it's kind of like a team effort. I'd like to know from their friends, from their family, from their teachers, what's been going on with them. Usually you can see changes. Again, it's not something that happens like overnight where all of a sudden somebody snaps. So it's the time of those little changes. How come this person doesn't hang out with that friend anymore? How come they stop doing this activity and they're not doing anything else? That's where it's like kind of checking in with different sources to find out what's going on, and then trying to connect that person with somebody they trust or somebody that they're open to.
All right. Thank you, Bill,
Thank you for having me.
here.